Welcome. Is human using thought or thought using human? What is thought? Can we think without a thought? How does it work? Are thoughts more advanced than human? Are thoughts on a higher level, on a higher plane, on a higher dimension than human? Are thoughts real? Look, what I'm about to say will not sit well with everyone. But if you examine yourself closely, you will come to the realization that thought play a very important role in your life, in your every single routine, in every single action you take. You can trace it back to a thought that you think about, and you take the action, and you live in that environment. You bring that thought into existence. You become that thought by doing what that thought idea is. What is thought? Thought is the spark that triggers the thinking process for creating ideas, making decision, and taking action to bring out into existence what that thought is or the idea of that thought. Me and you right now, at this moment, is living in an environment that was just once a thought. Whatsoever profession you are, if you trace back at the beginning, you can see where a thought comes in to be whatsoever you are now, and you take action after thinking about it and do what you got to do to get to this point, and then you become that thought. Can anyone think without a thought? I know you know the answer to this question. Can you think without a thought? Do you need a thought to think? How does thought work? When a thought comes into the mind, it triggers and engages the thinking process. This happens in milliseconds, very fast. But the second, in that split second, you will recognize what the thought is bringing in once it engages. And at that minute, that second, you recognize the information that's embodied, the idea that's inside of that thought. Right then and there, you have the power to reject that thought or to accept that thought and bring it in and start the thinking process. You see, thought is mental food. It's like mental food. Once you start the thinking process, it's like eating. Just like you're thinking, just like you're eating, you're tasting the flavor. You're looking at the quality, and you're looking at the nutritional value within that. And if you like what you're eating, or if you like what you're thinking, if you can see what it's bringing to you or bringing into your life, it's solving problem in the thinking process or the eating process, it's good for your health, then right inside that, once you're looking at it, you can stop or you can continue. Once you start feeling the effect, or you're thinking about the effect that this is going to have in your life, then right then and there, as I say, you can stop the thinking process. You can reject this thought, or you can allow it to continue with its process. See, with awareness in the mind, you will realize that each thought that comes in has its own agenda. Yes, every thought that comes in to the mind has its own agenda. It's like a seed. It's like sperm. It comes in to germinate or to impregnate and grow and develop. Look at this closely. Look at it closely. Every thought that comes in is moving you to accomplish something. For example, the thought of you being a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a plumber, a mechanic, even the thought of you going to the gym to get in shape, then that thought move you to put in the work. You spend your time, you spend your energy, you do the studying, you do whatsoever you got to do, you pass the exam, you go to the gym, you train, you do what you got to do. And eventually, that thought becomes you. You become the lawyer, you become the doctor, you become the plumber. You become whatsoever that thought is. If you accept that thought with its idea, that acceptance of that thought, give that thought permission to use your mind, your energy, and your body to accomplish that thought. This can be confirmed within you. You can look within yourself. If you're aware in the mind, you can see all these things playing out. So these things you can confirm for yourself. There's no difference between me and you and everybody else. It's the same thing that's playing out in everybody every single day. Some people are aware of this and some people are not. I think the biggest and most important duty you have is to choose the best quality thought to use you to accomplish what it got to accomplish. You being in line with the best quality thought that you bring into yourself. They have a saying, birds of a feather flock together. So once you start bringing in good ideas, good thoughts, then that will bring in more and it have a snowball effect and lead you to a better existence, a better outcome in your life. But it's the same loop. If it's negative, it's going to go around in a negative loop. If it's positive, it's going to have that snowball effect. The biggest and most important duty we have is to choose the best quality thought to use us. People sometimes accept thoughts with their ideas that literally put them in prison and cause suffering to themselves and to their victim. So the quality of thought that you accept is of the greatest importance in your life, because whatsoever you bring in as a thought and become an idea and you make a decision and you take action, it will bring you out into existence what you got to deal with. And if that you're creating something that's terrible, then you got to deal with it at the end of the day. So that's why it's at the beginning of this, you got to choose the best quality thought to bring into existence. And once you choose the best quality thought, then you can leave it right there. Then you don't have to worry about what's coming into existence for you. Because if it's good from the beginning, there's no way it's going to be bad in the end for you. Our thoughts more advanced than human. Our thoughts on a higher level, on a higher plane, in a higher dimension than human. Look, A thought can sit on a clay tablet, carved on a rock, on a stone, in a cave, in a temple, in a tomb, written on a scroll, buried in the ground for thousands of years. And the minute it's discovered and get translated, it get right back to work again on the human mind, influencing human, moving about, doing things in the human space, moving human to take action, sometimes good, sometimes bad. You see this. You see people going to Egypt or going any part of the world to dig in the sand to see what this hieroglyph, what's the meaning, and you receive the translation like the 42 laws of Mahat or the 42 divine principle, which have major effect on people and change people's life forever and keep on working until they're lost again. So it's like technology, but in a different way. The rules and laws that govern human society is coming from thought. If you can't even act without a thought, what does that say? What would it be like without thoughts? What would be created without thoughts? You can't even think or act without thoughts. Can't create anything without thoughts. Can we see the important role thought play in our daily life and in society? I know us human will not accept that thought is more advanced than us. Our thought is on a higher level than us, or on a higher plane, a higher dimension. But they are without sound. They're formless. We're noisy. We're not formless. They're unseen. We're seen. We need thoughts. Like we need the breath. Just like how we need electric current. You can't see these things, but they do exist. If you look, yeah, you can feel the thought if you're aware in the mind. But those are the things you can't see your breath that you take, and it's a big part of your life. I know they enter majority minds unseen and get their agenda to be your agenda, to be our agenda. What give man his purpose? Is it thought that give man his purpose? It's something to think about. Are thoughts real? Let's look at this. Are thoughts real? All that man invented, it's built from thought. The chair you sit in, the table, the house, the clothes you wear, was invented in the mind by a thought. The car, the train, the plane, the ship, you name it. What you become, lawyer, doctor, that's all from thought. Look around you. All that is man-made was just a thought at one point in somebody's mind. And think about it and bring it into existence. For example, the aeroplane, the Wright brothers, when they started out. Look from then to now. Look at train. Used to run on coal. Now it's a different thing. We have train moving so fast compared to when it just began. people build on top and build on top, even the computer system. Look at what it is now. You have a cell phone. It's more powerful than the first computer that ever built. So when you look at these things, these are all thought making these invention where people come up with these ideas. All these ideas that man have is coming from thought. Is thought more advanced than man, than human, or is thought on a higher level? What would we do without thoughts? What would we really do without thoughts if thought did not exist? What would we do? Look, I know a lot of the gurus, the spiritual leader, they say a thought is like the clouds in the sky. But look, for example, look at the clouds. Look what the cloud bring. The cloud bring the rain. You drink the water. The plants need the water. The animal, the fish, the soil need it. It's a necessity for people. Without the clouds bringing the rain, then there's a drought. And after a drought for a year or so, then starvation. No food, no plant grow. So the clouds are like the thoughts that bring in the ideas to make man do what he have to do. The invention that's come about is from those thoughts would make those ideas and bring things into existence. They're really, really beneficial to survival for mankind, for humankind. Just like the rain that falls and give all the nourishment to the plants and the animal, just like good thoughts can guide man and human being to a better place and let them live a better and more peaceful life, a more peaceful existence, filled with happiness, filled with joy. And also on the other hand, you have the negative side of it. I think the biggest mistake we make is thinking that thought is not real. I think that's the biggest mistake we make. It would benefit us more if we think thought is real. It will serve us much better if we look at thought as real. Just like the breath we take, just like the electric current. You can't see it, but you know it's there because it's affecting. You know that something is there. It's moving you. They are a major, major part of our existence. Whether we know it or not, it's a major, major, major part of our existence. If we look at thoughts as real, we will not underestimate the power they possess, because we would pay more attention to the thought that we accept and allow to operate within us. If you're aware in the mind, you can answer a lot of these questions. If thought is real and those things. Can you see or sense thoughts within your mind? If you're aware in the mind, this question you can answer. Remember, to bring some clarity and awareness to your creative space, 10 to 12 deep breaths can get you started. Peace, respect, and blessing always. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate that. Comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.